Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Top Flight Pod. You know what it is. You know what we're here to do. We're back in studio today. Beautiful Austin, Texas. We're fresh out Q2 Stadium, mate. Just left the stadium. The boys got the job done. There's two different mindsets going into this. Are you okay with the 3 points? A win's a win, or are you not satisfied with the performance? That's the debate for here today on the podcast. Let me introduce the folks here. B, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing good. This is the first time I think that we've done a podcast like right after the game. So, initial reactions here. But yeah, I mean, I agree. There's two sentiments in this game. And
Hair's still a little messy from the win, but we're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
But I'm happy to be here as always,
Of course. And we have my G Scott here from the Suffering from Joy pod, but also, more importantly, the writer of all the What You Need to Knows for We're Austin TV, now going on to 3 years. Welcome to the pod, mate.
Thanks for having me. This is my first time in the new studio. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you were at the old one?
Yeah, I did one of the old one.
Yeah, but what'd you think?
No, I thought Austin played pretty well.
Of the stew
the
first.
stew? I mean, it's okay. No, the stew's really nice. It looks really good. Like, it has like a nice, like, cozy feel to it. It's good.
I appreciate it. We're going to get to the game. Trust me, we're going to get to the game. Tuck, Monterrey, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. Performance wasn't great, but that's what we're here to talk about.
Okay, all right. Of course, on the ones and twos, we got my G Primo. Mate, you were watching the game with me. I got to ask you, how are you doing after 90 minutes?
Man, it was a crazy game. I was watching the goal right now on my phone. I
Okay.
actually just watched the goal again, but we got the 3 points. I think that's all that matters.
That's where you're at right now?
That's
all that
where I'm at.
matters?
That's
all that
where I'm
matters.
at.
I feel like the room is divided and it's perfectly, like the raft is right here.
Hey, whoa,
it's right here.
I haven't said anything. I haven't
But
said
I
anything.
want to send a shout out, of course, to our newest photographer, Maji Dante Valencia, DYV Media. If you can give him a follow, if you don't know who he is, you will know soon. We're going to be posting a lot of his work. First time at Q2 today, MLS debut. Dante, how was it, mate?
It was an awesome experience. I've just been looking forward to this. I've done a few professional games before, but this is my first official competition, so I'm super excited and grateful for you guys to give me this opportunity. So,
And of course, you've already done some stuff for Austin FC2. You know, you were at that Parma Field with myself. We were getting some content there, but hard worker, and I'm happy to have him on this team. Shout out to Maji Dante. Shout out to
Dante.
him. Appreciate you, mate. But guys, let's get into the podcast. Of course, big shout out to our Patreon members. I gave out some care packages today outside Q2. If you didn't get yours, it probably means it'll get shipped out to you. So just be patient and you will get your care package. Got a wristband, some stickers, and a lot of cool, neat stuff that you will get there soon. But if you want a We're Austin TV care package, make sure to sign up to our Patreon and I'll get you going there. But getting into the game, 1-0 over the LA Galaxy. There was everything in this game. There was a missed penalty. There was a goal. There was a double yellow, which ended in a red card. There was Matthew McConaughey. There was rain. There was so much emotion going into this match. Rest in peace to the young man Marcos Jr. Big shout out to my G Marcos Anaya. I can't imagine the strength that he has to be, having right now to be going through these times. But he has a whole family here with him, his family, and of course his Verde family. But so much was going into this game. General thoughts, Scott, how did you see it?
I thought Austin put in a pretty good performance against a bad Galaxy team. I think my biggest problem with it was that this was a game that they could have really, helped that goal differential out, and they just kind of played too passively and didn't try to force LA into the mistakes that, if you've ever watched any of their games this season, they will make consistently. And they made today, and I think Austin could have done a lot more than that.
100% now. B, how did you see it, mate? Your general thoughts. Austin got the win?
Man, this has been every game at home almost. This has been like the same thing. Every game we think of, this is our opportunity where we can really showcase what we've been having, where we can really demonstrate what we've been working on. And we come up with this, a game where we could have scored 3 or 4. We could have scored this. We could have done that. And, we found a way to get the 3 points. And I'm happy for that. But I think we're just still waiting on – it's still waiting again.
Tucker,
to click.
General thoughts on this match?
I didn't think it was good. I thought, we just can't score goals, and, Vázquez misses the penalty. He makes up – I wouldn't say he makes up for his performance, but, he gets the goal, the winning goal. It wasn't a great performance, but we got the win.
Let's jump into the penalty. Of course, I feel like that's one of the biggest talking points of the day. I said that Brandon Vázquez found redemption in the goal that he scored off of the beautiful Jean Kolmanich assist down that left side. But, Scott, talking about the penalty, do you give more credit to McCarthy for making the save, or do you put all the blame on Vázquez for having one of the poorest executions we've seen at Q2?
I put the blame on Vázquez. Like, it was a penalty that lacked confidence. You made a point earlier about when we were chatting about like McCarthy doing his feet and kind of deking him, but like that's unnecessary. Like you're a penalty taker, you're a DP, get up there, pick a side, hit it hard enough that it's gonna not be saved, that it can't be saved, and you just have to do that. You have to
Put
be
your big boy pants on.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be more in control of what you're doing and not letting the other team affect you that way, especially for penalties.
100%. Now, I do want to mention this. This is a team. This is a unit. But I feel like Mirto Usuni was more equipped to take this penalty at this moment. Vázquez, at this point, had already missed more than one chance at, I want to say, point-blank range. I feel like Usuni had the confidence in the way that he's been speaking to the media. We haven't really heard much of Vázquez. He's been more kind of reserved. And I get it. Usuni has been more, out speaking to the media, saying all this confidence that the goals will come. To me, I wanted Usuni to take that PK 100%.
Well, and if you look at the stats of it, like I looked it up, and this is only the fourth time Brandon Vázquez has taken a penalty for his
why is this
team.
picture in my head that he's a PK taker?
See, I don't know, because it's not really based on like anything that I found. Whereas like Azuni was the prime penalty taker for Grenada for the last few years and had a good record with it. Like just looking at past performance and like just the players themselves, like Azuni should be taking these. And this isn't something just because like Vázquez missed today, but like just looking at like the pedigree, like it should be Azuni.
I agree with that, by the way. Now, B, you were down on the touchline when this was all going on. Dante and yourself probably got, along with the club, right? But the reaction to the goal that Brandon scored, the reaction to the penalty. Speaking about the penalty, because that's where we're at right now. I mean, what did you think about it when Bukari went down initially? By the way, great job by him for creating the contact in the box. But what did you think about the execution? And did you want to see maybe Usuni take the PK?
No, 100%. 100% I wanted to see Usuni. As soon as it happened, as soon as a new penalty, my mind, I wanted Usuni to take it.
My mind went
Brandon
there as
Vázquez, you could tell he grabbed it. I feel like he knows he needs to score. So he's like, I'm going to have to do because I have to, right? And he had no confidence. That shot had no confidence in it. It's almost like he was taking it because he had to. You know what I mean? Because he needs to get those numbers up. But hey, now we know. Now we know.
Now we know
Usuni's our penalty taker.
If you're Nico Estevez, are you changing penalty kick takers? Because it looks like BV is the designated guy.
I bet, dude.
Are you giving the next one
to
somebody else?
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Are you changing because you'd think if this is a confidence thing, you're ripping the penalty responsibility from BV9. His confidence is might go lower.
I mean, I'd also argue it the other way that like Azuni, somebody who has missed a lot of chances, like he needs to see the ball go in the net. Yeah. And I think giving him a penalty might help get him going better.
I see. We have two guys kind of going through the same situation.
They both need it.
I mean, this is the larger problem with Austin is that we have two guys who are very similar and are kind of doing similar things on the pitch, and you need to kind of figure that out.
Bukari needs a pin, bro.
We spoke about the penalty, right? And I'm gonna get Tucker's take on this also as well. The goal, right? BV9, he ends up getting the goal. Jean Komanich comes on. It's clear that the instruction from Jean Komanich is, hey, stay up, put the balls into the box, because that's clearly what you're good at. That is your bread and butter. It's probably why we re-signed you, right?
I mean, the role basically said it.
That's what he basically said it.
Yeah.
Jean Komanich, does he do most of the work on the goal for Brandon Vázquez, or how did you see the goal?
I think Komanich does a lot of the work. I mean, it is deflected. And part of it is also like I never want to discount like strikers and attackers who make the runs and put forth the effort to be in the right place. Like there is that whole thing of like, luck happens when you put more effort in, blah, blah, blah. True. And I think this is kind of the case of it of like, Vázquez made a run into a good spot in front of the defender. And, when you do that enough, like the ball's going to find you and he scores it.
I mean, he had 4 or 5 chances. One of them had to go in.
Yeah, exactly. And but that's the thing is that like, I like that he, even after the penalty miss, like he still kept trying and putting forth effort. 100%. You could tell that like, it affected him, but he didn't let that like ruin the rest of the game for him.
100%. Now, Brandon Vázquez, although he missed his penalty, he did get his goal. 7.8 match rating.
Let's just say real quick, first one to go up to him was Uzuni. Like right away, he went up to him right away and started to try to get him to get over it. But because come on, Uzuni knows
after the PK miss or the goal?
After the PK miss.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, Tucker, we're talking about Brandon Vázquez, 7.8 match rating, missed the PK, but he got the goal that ultimately got Austin FC the 3 points at home, which is a must against one of the poorest teams in the Western Conference right now. Although they are champions, right? They are poor this season. But how did you see his game made? Talking about the PK miss and the goal, 7.8.
I mean, I think the 7.8 is inflated by the goal because if you look at the overall performance, not only did he miss a PK, I mean, he could have had, 4 goals tonight. Like, let's be real. He missed
Yeah.
some chances
Say
that a
the same
$10
thing
million
every week.
striker scores.
Every week we say he could have had
And,
this,
like,
he could have had that, we could have scored this, we could have scored
one
that.
day he's going to, though. One day he's
We're
gonna.
hoping, and every game that comes up, that it's the potential, oh, this is the one, this happens, and we go again and again. And I'm hoping it's against Houston away,
Now,
but
question: what can we say about Vázquez to bring him up? You mentioned how he didn't give up, how he was still
have no
fighting,
competition.
fighting. Like, what? How can we bring
just
him
keep
up?
trying, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
How
thing.
can
Is
I
like
bring
he
him up?
has to keep putting forth effort. I also think something that Austin doesn't do that they could do more of is to try to incorporate him more in the build-up play, just to try to get him more touches on the ball to where the only time he's touching it isn't on a chance. Like, I think just like a little more comfort there might do wonders for him.
Now, I was with Primo and Ozzy watching this game, and I asked the Discord chat, I was like, is it still a service issue with Vázquez? Because I feel like the balls weren't really getting to him in the first, maybe 30 minutes of the game, but then the chances started coming and coming and coming. And there was one header where it could have been called back for a push-off, maybe, depending on how this referee felt about when he was looking at it or maybe what was in his ear. But there was one header right in front of the goal. He heads it just right outside, hits the side netting, and you'd think that a guy of his quality makes that in his sleep. But it just kind of goes to show it. Maybe he is a little bit in his head. Maybe he is a little bit in a bit of a confidence hole or whatnot. But how can Nico and the coaching staff get him out of it? I mean, I know that he got his goal, but he's not happy. We're here criticizing his performance, but he's being 2 times harder on himself.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean?
Yes, you literally get judged, paid, everything off goals. That's as a number 9, like other positions, it's different. Like we gave Danny man of the match. Some people were like, "Wow, we saw maybe his work rate." No, number 9's how many goals? So of course it's definitely in his head, bro.
100%.
It's definitely that's why he grabbed the ball, because he needed to score a penalty, bro. He did it. He wasn't like, "Oh, I'm gonna bury this." He's like, "No, I need to score this. I need goals. I need to go up." That kind of as the attitude that I got, and
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, also, you want the confidence of your striker to say, no, I want this.
But
I'm
to your
going to take
question,
this
how do you
penalty.
get him out of it?
Yeah.
He's gonna keep playing. He's gonna keep. How you get out of him is tell him, bro, you're gonna play next game. You're gonna play. You just concentrate on burying them.
Now, let me ask you a question, and we can mention Bukari into the conversation because he was benched in this match against the LA Galaxy. Should Bukari be the only player that sees this kind of treatment? I was told on social media, why is Bukari the only one? And I also said this before the game. Why is Bukari the only player that is being sent to the bench in the attack if he's not the only one that's being poor?
Who's the other?
Brandon Vázquez, Usuni can also be put into the conversation because the numbers are low.
You're
The
not
numbers
benching
are low.
Usuni.
The
You're not
numbers are
benching
low.
Usuni.
But I'm wondering, why is it just Bukari that is being sent to the bench?
Okay, the person who should be benched for a lot of Bukari's performance is Nico himself.
Oof.
Because he keeps putting him on the left, which is not his side. He needs to be on the right. We see every time that he plays on the right, he does what we saw today. He gets one-on-one with the defender, he takes him, he gets to the byline, he creates chances. When he's on the left, he doesn't do that because he can't get down to the byline that way. He always ends up cutting in where the defense is. And, this is something that in the first half, like, Austin needs somebody on the left wing who can put in a left-footed cross. It's not a surprise that the goal we scored was from that. Like, and this is what I was yelling in the stands of, like, Owen was getting the ball over there on the left, but like every time he was having to cut it back inside. There was no service on the left. It just made it a lot easier for the keeper. And like, sometimes sports comes down to very simple questions. And the simplest question for this team lineup is, who are your best players? What are their best positions?
Okay.
You fill out Uzuni, Vázquez, and Bukari on the front with Bukari on the right, and you figure out everything else because those are their best positions. And that really just from like a basic idea, like that's what you have to do.
Tuck, why was Bukari sent to the bench in this game?
I mean,
Why is he the only one that sees this treatment?
honestly, dude, I don't know. I mean, let's not act like Obrian is a world beater, right? So you're not really. It's not like it's not like.
Offensive player of 2024.
And he got played on the
Let's
right.
not go there. Let's not go there. But it's not like where if you take off Dessler and bring in Gallagher. It's like you take off Bukari and you bring on, an okay player. Like you were saying, Bukari's not a left wing and he's been forced to play there because, I mean, he's really we have 2 wingers in this team, let's be real. So I think that is an issue when they're both right wingers and they're both right-footed. And the style we play, you have to cross the ball in, and you can't really do that well when you're having to switch and then cross the ball.
Question: in Houston, do you start or bench Bukari?
I start him on the right. I
Start him on
really
the right.
liked Uzuni as our left wing
We'll
today.
get to Mirto. in Houston, do you start Bukari? Yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%?
100%.
B, in Houston,
Yeah.
what do you do with
Yes,
Buka?
I start him.
Primo?
No, I'll start Hader.
You start Hader.
Nah, that's wild.
Okay.
That's wild. That's wild. That's
Is
wild.
there a
I'll go
reason?
Hader.
Is there a statement to back it up?
I mean, I think I like how he was looking the first few minutes.
I don't think he looked that bad in the
And-
first few minutes, man.
And going back to
Bukari
the
looked
question
good
where
when
you're
he came in.
saying why is he the only one that gets that treatment, I think because Hader is there. I think he gives him that competition. There's not really anyone that can give Brandon or Usuni that competition.
They're
I mean,
their
you
own
got-
competition. They're on the field together.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
So Hader is that.
There's an option there.
There's an option.
Okay.
So.
So, I mean, as soon as Dessler is back, there's competition on the left side. Gali is up
Yeah,
there, right?
exactly.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Exactly.
Good take, Primo. Good take. Now, gentlemen, Mirto Usuni, we got to talk about him. It seemed like he was going to get a goal today. He was knocking on the door, chance after chance, and he was creating a lot of these for him. I mean, the bicycle kick out of nothing from Hader Obrian. It was very nicely set up. If the ball was maybe a foot higher, it's in the net. The ball's in the net. It seems like Mirto Usuni has to go a little bit low, and he scoops it up a little bit too much. As everybody sees, it went to the top of the net. But if that goal would have gone in, is it reaching to say that would have been the most beautiful goal scored at Q2 in the history?
By Austin?
By
Yes.
Austin. By Austin.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Driussi versus Red Bulls when we lost like 5-4.
No,
4-3.
you can no.
He
no.
fake shots like 2 or 3 different people and then bangs it.
It's a
from 30
Chilena.
yards.
Chilena, mate.
It's a Chilena, bro.
Chilena,
There's
bro.
no
Come
way.
on.
The
There's
Chilena
no way.
trumps it. Chilena trumps
No,
it.
I was
I
waiting
think-
for you to get to me because yes, hell
B.
yes,
No,
hell
no.
yes,
Yes?
yes. There will
Thank
be
you.
the best.
I'm with you.
The
I'm
only
with
other
you.
one I can really think of was like Mackenzie Gaines in like 2021 scored an absolute fucking banger. That's a fucking banger. Calm
Yes,
down.
banger, volley, banger, but
Nah,
not
bro.
a Chilena, bro. Not that. If he
The
would,
be-
if he
the-
would have made it, let's be real. He missed it.
He missed it.
But if he would have made it,
If you would have made
Top.
it, the best
Top.
goal at Q2 Stadium history has to be a goal that I can't score myself. I would have never scored that bicycle
it has
kick.
to be.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Most of these other goals,
Nah,
I
I'd be
can score it.
when
I
I
can.
I would be attempting them though.
Okay, but let's talk a little bit about Mirto Usuni because he's a guy that's very important in this attack for Austin FC. You could say that he hasn't really gotten off to a fiery start as a lot of us expected when he was signed to Austin, but he just spoke with Charles Boehm and he said in that interview, he said, "Hey, I mean, I've done this for a long time. Like goals are gonna come, but it takes a little bit of time to adapt to a league." Is this the period where you're like, okay, he's still getting used to it? How much more time are you going to give Mirto Usuni before he gets some Bukari kind of treatment? Because this Mirto Usuni's, it's just 9 matches in with a brand new team, brand new club, brand new country. His family ain't here. His kid's about to be born. Imagine the stress in the back of his head. And he has this frustration where he can't score for his new club. And you could tell he wants to.
Oh, 100%.
He wants to score so bad for Austin FC.
I mean that's his bread and butter. Like when he talks about like, oh, I'm here to set records, and he's somebody who ranks himself that way. I saw a lot more from him in terms of like the build up and like combining a little bit more, which I think is good, and I think is a sign of using like his just general skill level to help the team overall. And he had some good shots on goal. Like I like what Tucker said about like playing him on the left and letting him cut in. Like that actually really works for him in a way that it doesn't work for other players because he just has more attacking threat than they do. So I mean, like he said, like I think the goals are going to come. I think he's getting into good positions. He's getting on the ball well. Like I'm not worried about him finding the net because he has a track record of doing that.
He
every
did
week.
try that where he was going down the left-hand side, cut back, and he tried that shot. There was 2 times where it almost went into the back of the net.
Yeah.
But no, B, your thoughts on Mirto? How did you see him, mate? Could have had a
Look,
goal, but
I
your
mean, he
thoughts?
could have had a hold, but the whole game, me and Dante were like, bro, this guy's quality. Like, this guy's quality. We're like, he's live. Like, oh, like you could see it. Like it's
It's aura?
yeah,
It's aura?
I guess so. But you could tell, and today I've seen him, we're watching him play. This is the most mad he's gotten at Brandon Vázquez. He was pissed, bro. He was pissed. For a moment,
was.
there was a moment where he was pissed.
I don't know how I feel about that.
But, it's part of the game. I'm sure it's part of the game, bro. Come on.
But they need to leave it on the pitch and then move forward. Like these guys, they need to click, bro. They're,
They need
they're
to click.
teammates.
Part of being a good teammate is holding your other teammates accountable for their performance. Like
Fair.
that's part of being a leader.
Fair.
The narrative doesn't change. Like we have the same narrative and it keeps going. And then like the good thing about this, which makes it a better, is that we're complaining about the performance. We could have done this, we could have done that, but we're not clicking, and we still managed to get the 3 points. Look where we're at on the table. Like to me, that's the narrative doesn't change. On to Houston, which we'll talk about, but let's see if that could be the potential of goal fest that we've been craving, that we've been thinking is coming. You know what I mean? The Brandon Vázquez, he could have had this, he could have that. So we'll see. The narrative doesn't change, bro.
Now, this tweet came out from Austin FC Communications where they said that Austin FC, after 9 games in, they are the team with most clean sheets in 2025. Austin FC Communications already getting to work. So I guess, there is the question out there, is this still the best defense in MLS?
Yes.
Yes.
I think you still have to say it. I mean, I view the Vancouver game as an outlier, like just based on like all the other evidence that we have. That like you have to look at the rest of the body of work, that this is a team that plays reorganized, shuts teams down, limits the opportunities. And I'm just glad that Stuver finally has a defense in front of him to where he gets the acknowledgement of how good he is.
I agree. Now, Mirto Usuni, 7.3 match rating. You just got to think that it's going to click for this guy sooner or later. He's a hard worker. He's extremely hungry. You can tell he wants to score the goals. And just like you said, B, and Dante as well, he has quality. It's an aura thing. It's oozing out of him. It's something that this guy portrays either in the way that he walks or carries himself, how he speaks with his Albanian accent, mixed with a little bit of Spanish in there. This guy's going to be good for the club. And we just got to give him a little bit of time. We got to let him cook. The same with BV9. I know people are already placing BV9 on fraud alert. People came up to me at Q2 there saying he is on fraud alert.
Is he our leading scorer right now?
It's too early, bro. It's way too early.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he is.
The thing
But it's only
is-
2.
The
only
thing
he's
is
having-
that
it's
in
not a
10
lot,
so
but
many
it's still.
chances.
It's
though.
2 in 10 games for a $10 million player.
how many big
That's
chances
Zarda's
has he
number.
missed, though? 6 or 7.
What Brian was saying, I think it was like after the San Diego or something, he could be at double digits right now, 9 games in.
Yeah,
like
I remember you said that.
The quality of chances
Add the
he's
goals he
missing.
could have had today.
Exactly, dude. He could be at 12 goals this season.
Already in
And
MLS.
in 9 games,
crazy?
and he's just missed
and that's
so
why
many
fans
chances.
Are coming at you and saying fraud alert. Like,
Yeah.
and
Is he on fraud alert for you,
No,
Brandon
I
Vázquez?
don't think so. I don't think so.
Scott,
I think we got
fraud
Houston.
alert?
No.
No.
Okay, I agree 100%.
It's
Not-
too
not
early.
there
Even
yet.
Bukari, like I agree, maybe benching him did him good because he came in and actually played well. So maybe it does him good. He needed that. Maybe he needed to get sit down for a little bit. So even him, I was like, nah, let's keep him going. Let's let him cook.
Now, before we get into Houston, I do want to talk about the stuff that happened after the game. There was a little bit of a scuffle. Even BR Football, Bleacher Report made a post about it. It said
Pull it up.
the Galaxy and Austin FC get into a fight after the game after the Galaxy failed to win again in MLS. Kind of putting the blame on the Galaxy, saying that they're heated because they haven't won a game. But there's one guy in our team that just looks like he has the time of his life when he is involved in something like this. He was on the TIFO showing that infamous image of him cocking back the cannon,
No, it's famous.
ready to fire at Vanny and who all the other players that were right there. I'm talking about Guilherme Biru, if you didn't know yet. And Alex tells us that in post-match, when he's in the locker room, Biru was excited to speak with media. So I'm curious to see what he has to say. I haven't heard it just yet, but when we get those posts out, you'll see what I'm talking about. But Biru, Svatok, Hines-Ike's red card, Gallagher, Stuver, the defense is a unit. We gave that stat earlier, a couple minutes ago, about the 5 clean sheets, only one in MLS, most in MLS right now. How'd you see the defense, mate?
No, I thought the defense did pretty good in terms of keeping Galaxy from getting like too many good chances.
Fagundes' historic goal. Stop that as well.
Who?
Diego Fagundes.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, really, their only attacking threat was through Peck on the right, and
hit the
that
bar-
only-
he hit the bar.
He did hit the bar, and so like, if you're limiting a team with the attacking talent that Galaxy has on the pitch, like to just kind of like those chances, like you're doing really well. And then part of that is that they're missing an MVP in Ricky Pooch, and their team was, especially last season, was so reliant on all the things that he did, and so. It makes them an interesting team to watch because they are a team that does not care that they have midfielders. They just flat out don't care. It's get the ball from the defense, hit it up to a wing, go. And that's all they do.
Now, the Hines-Ike double yellow red card. We got to break that down to some folks because a lot of people didn't see what happened. A lot of people are confused as to what happened. I had a pretty good view of it. I was like around the midway line of the field watching the game. The play, it's not clear what happened. If it was a free kick taken quickly, right? Very smart by Elias Sanchez. Finds Usuni, which as of yet seems completely legal, right? the game is stopped. Seems like it's an offside. Nothing is explained, right? The captain, which is Brandon Hines-Ike, rightfully so, is the one that can go and chirp at the referee. He goes, but where Hines-Ike commits his mistake is that the referee shows the yellow, the first one, and then the referee takes a step back, and Hines-Ike takes a step forward.
Okay, so two things. One, I don't think it was called offside because the linesman never put his flag up. And two, I think at that time Ilie had come in and he was wearing the armband. So I think it might have been a case of like Hines-Ike was like, no, I can do this. And then being like, oh, technically I'm not allowed to. But also like, that's a ridiculous thing for the ref to do.
It's also ridiculous from Hines-Ike. I mean, schoolboy mistake, losing your head when you know you gotta be cold-minded at that point. There's 6 minutes left of extra time. We're down to 10 men. Think of the situation, and actually, there's a moment in the match, dying minutes, where Gallagher makes a game-saving shot block tackle on Paintsell, and he celebrates that like it was a goal, right? And if let's say if that gets through and it goes into the back of the net, how much blame is on Hines-Ike for this red card, mate? Think about that.
Oh, I mean, that's absolutely the case, but that's, as a very poor soccer coach once said, goals change games.
Yeah. No, but bring you in on this topic, man. I mean, Hines-Ike, one of the best defenders that we've seen at this club, one of the most composed guys on the field for Austin FC, loses his mind.
Yeah, mistake. I mean, he's been dealing with the whole game. This ref's been kind of was like
atrocious.
awful.
Atrocious.
So of course, you've seen how he's ref the game, and you're gonna approach him. He's gonna book you. He's gonna send you off. Mistake by Hines-Ike. Mistake for sure, 100%.
Now,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry to your point. Like when that happened, I was like, oh, if anything happens, it's on Hines-Ike. Like he messed up.
I was scared.
I was scared. But we got the 3 points, brother.
Yeah, I was worried. I was like, come on, Brandon. Like, you're much better than that. You're Brandon Hines-Ike. Leave that to Beto or Owen or Danny or one of the younger guys.
He's been like the cornerstone of the defense, played every minute so far. Like
he gets one.
Somebody who should be like, on the all-star list, like Diaz, and like, that's just not something he should be doing.
It kind of goes to the point where I mentioned at the beginning of the pod where this game was just it was so many emotions riding on this game. We had the Marcos stuff, right? We had the Svatok and Diego stuff, right? We had multiple, Austin FC having the Vancouver stuff lingering, LA Galaxy haven't won a match all season stuff, right? So many things. And the boys wanted to win
TIFO.
it for Marco and his son, right? And all that tragedy that rocked this Austin FC fan base, right? And the boys wanted to win it so bad, and I think that just it shows how much they wanted it, how much little frustration just took to tip over the glass that is Brandon Hines-Ike. And at least we saw it through.
Yeah,
at least we saw it through.
3 points is 3 points.
Yeah. Tucker, anything you'd like to add on the Hines-Ike?
I mean, I agree with you. I think it was stupid. I think he's a professional soccer player, right? He's a grown man. He should know, I can't bow up to the referee like I'm about to punch him and not get sent off. It's a stupid mistake. And now we don't have him against Houston.
Let's talk about that. We got to go to Houston next week, Saturday. We will be there. We're going to take the whole crew out there. It's going to be, I don't want to say this, but it's going to be a movie. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got to go to Houston to play one of our biggest rivals. And we don't have Hines-Ike. Problem or no problem?
I mean, it's a problem mostly from like a continuity standpoint. Like I said, like he's somebody who's played every minute of every match so far. Like you expect to have that kind of guy as a cornerstone. I'm interested to see what Cascante and Svatak look like as a defensive pair because we did see some of that last season. And I do think in some ways like they do kind of mix and match. And
we saw that recently, and it was not good. It was not good at all.
The good thing is the good thing is that there is not a single player on Houston who would start for Vancouver.
100%. I was about to add that.
Or
It
maybe
was
even
Vancouver.
play.
To me, look.
Yeah.
To me, the hindsight, the good thing is we have someone. All right. In the situation where we had a center back crisis, if we had no one left, we would have to play ring in. Then yes, it would be really bad going into Houston. But we have someone. It's Julio. He can do the job. The Vancouver game. You can lean towards it being Vancouver, and we were away, and they just dominated. It was just everything went right for them. Sure, and also he had just started. It was a weird move by Nico to do that, anyways. So I'm gonna give him another. I think he can do a good job against Houston.
Now it's gonna be a very interesting match. Houston is gonna want to win that game just as much as Austin FC will. The Austin team will be arriving in better form, right? This Houston team tied 2-2 against this LA Galaxy, or was it 1-1?
1-1.
1-1 with a wonderful free kick from Diego Fagundes, former Austin FC player, who was looking to make history tonight at Q2. Has to wait another week. He's inches away from the 75-75 club in MLS.
Yeah, he's
Right?
at 74.
74? Oh, yeah, okay, 74, you're right.
Yeah.
So, he'll probably get that next week or the week after that, but not at Q2.
Yeah, Austin trivia for everybody. The one Austin FC player who has also scored against the team.
Wait, so scored against what?
The only player who's played for Austin and also scored against us.
Jared Stroud?
Yeah.
Oh,
Almost like
St.
I do a
Louis.
podcast on these guys.
St. Louis.
Let's go.
Still the only one.
That
Jared
was
Stroud.
that infamous game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game.
That infamous game. That game will go down in history.
Wherever you're at, Kip, I hope you're doing good, bro. Wherever you're at. But score predictions for Houston, gentlemen. Sorry.
I'm going to take Austin 2-1.
Okay. And B, score prediction, but also give me your take on how do you think Austin will fare up against this Houston side?
We're gonna go at it like we did with LA Galaxy, like we did with Vancouver, like what we attempted, what we did with prior games. Like we know how we're gonna play. It's been a pattern. Like we know Nico, the type of ball that he sets up solid defensively. We are now technically, even though it's weird to say this after you just conceded 5, but technically one of the best defenses in the league. So you can look at the numbers. Defensively, we're solid. So we're gonna approach the Houston game the same way, I feel like, and hopefully, what we all have been waiting for, what everybody wants. Oh, it's coming. Hopefully, it's this Houston game.
The big win
Hopefully,
game.
we see a little Brandon brace. Hopefully, we see Osuni get a goal. Hopefully, we keep a clean sheet again. Hopefully, we see that. What we've been asking, what we thought we would see today. We'll see if we see it against Houston.
Close it with a score prediction.
I think it happens. I think we win 3-0
3-0
Yeah.
at Houston.
at Houston. I think it happens.
Okay.
Derby.
Okay. Primo, score prediction for this game coming up against Houston. It's going to be a tough one. We're going to have Hines-Ike out, but the defense is going to need Julio Cascante to step up and continue this form. Best defense in MLS. It's back. We're saying it. We're here.
Yeah.
Score prediction.
I think we keep another clean sheet. I think we go for another clean sheet. I'm going to say 2-0 this time.
Okay.
I said 5-0 last for the LA Galaxy game, bro. But I thought this
It
game...
could have been.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
thought
The
this
narrative
game was
doesn't
gonna
change.
be-
But we say
That's
that
what I'm saying.
every week it could have been.
It could have
That's the
been.
thing.
That was-
And eventually, if you keep betting on it happening, eventually it'll hit.
That's my point of the pod. Literally, narrative. That's the name of the pod. Narrative.
The narrative doesn't change. And it shouldn't, because we want to be positive. We want to back these guys, right? And we do back them 100%. But they should also know that this performance doesn't sit well with us and with I'm sorry. They know that this performance doesn't sit well with the fan base, and it doesn't sit well with them. They have standards for themselves. This is not good enough for both the fan base and for the players, and they know it. They're just going to get better.
And also say that, this team is accumulating points.
They're second fucking
I
place.
mean,
right
they're
now,
second
dude.
place right now. Like, we're on pace to get 60 points on this season.
That's
Like,
what I'm
60
saying.
points
And
is...
we're
is-
complaining?
Yeah, like, 60 points isn't even just, like,
It says
barely
a
making the
lot.
playoffs. Like,
Says
60
a
points
lot.
is, like, we're home field first
Yeah.
round of the playoffs. Like, this is a team that is accumulating points and is playing well. And as much as, like, we're disappointed in the performances, like, they're still getting results.
It's because this fan base has standards, bro.
Bro,
They do,
I
and
was
also,
just
like-
thinking of that.
And also,
I was just thinking of that.
we're focusing way too much on a game that I'm choosing to believe is an outlier.
The Galaxy.
On the,
Or
Vancouver game, I'm
Okay.
choosing to believe is just an outlier. That was just one bad performance.
Wait,
I'm blaming the mouse. That was clearly the mouse cursing the team.
Yes, I agree.
100%.
Do you
And
think
so,
it
like,
was so you're like disregarding it for on our side or
Yeah.
on Vancouver's?
I
I feel
don't
like that game was
I don't
just
think-
Vancouver showing that we're the best team.
Oh, that 100%.
Yeah.
Like, that was a Vancouver statement game that,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
we can
yeah.
be tired and we can have guys out and we can still embarrass you at home. Like, they
Yeah.
did it on the road in Portland in
played
the first match.
Yeah.
And I think everybody kind of, like, shat on Portland a little too much of, like, them not being very good. But, like, Vancouver's really good. Like, if it wasn't for Inter Miami, I would say they're the best team in the league.
I had a conversation with an ex-pro player recently, and we were talking about that game, Vancouver, and he was saying, he was like, I just can't believe Vancouver did that. Like, I feel like Austin wasn't that bad, and I just don't see Vancouver as like that elite team because they've never been good in my career. That's what the player said. And I was just thinking about it, and I was like, well, Vancouver's just they're not like attractive like an LA, an Atlanta, a New York City FC. They don't make you want to talk about
Also,
them.
they always fall short in the playoffs, bro. Like they always do good. They're always they like take care of business. They qualify in a high position. They even win the first round, maybe even the next round. But they always just fall short of getting to a MLS Cup.
That's why I hate the playoffs.
It's also a great example of how, like, if you create
Not
good
fair.
chances and they fall to, like, your best player and they convert them,
It's
like,
the playoffs. What do
Brian
you
White's
mean?
really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, he's a really good player.
He's a
Oh,
great
yeah.
player. Now,
Yeah.
Tuck, we didn't get your score prediction for the Houston game. I mean, how are you approaching that match? What kind of mindset are you going into it? And close it with your score prediction.
I think we squeeze out a 1-0. I think.
You're annoying. No, you're annoying
I'm sorry,
me today,
man.
bro. You're
Look,
annoying me today, bro.
I don't think our attack is fully clicked yet, but I think Houston are really, really bad.
Okay.
So I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I would love, like what Brian's saying, to finally get that statement win. We need a statement win after Vancouver.
saying
That was
that,
their
bro.
statement win. We need a statement win of, hey, we're here to compete for the Western Conference too. But I don't know. I just don't think our attack is really clicked yet. So 1-0, clean sheet.
Now, as of right now, Saturday, there's still a lot of teams that need to play. We were the first one to play today in MLS. Austin is currently sitting second in the West with 16 points. If Minnesota wins their game, they jump Austin. If San Diego wins their game, they jump Austin. If Portland wins their game, they jump Austin. If Colorado wins their game, they jump Austin, but it stops there. So if those teams that I just said win their game, Austin falls to 7th, right above LAFC. It just shows how tight the Western Conference is right now, mate. You know, Austin's currently sitting second with 16.
Yeah, like in the West, like it's kind of Vancouver, and there's kind of like 8 or 9 teams, and then there's kind of like the Houston, LA Galaxy, Sporting KC tier of like teams that aren't really trying.
And just you have the Galaxy in 15th with just 3 points. And you'd think that Austin would have got the statement win today. B, you got to wait another week, mate.
Another week.
You know who you're like with that take? I don't know if you've seen the videos of the guy that's like, day 179 of not cutting my hair until Man United win 5 games in a row. Have you seen that video? You seen that guy? That's B, bro. That's B. It's like day 147 of not cutting my hair until Austin wins 3-0. That's B right now.
Yeah, day 300 of the Floods gates opening. Like, I mean, yeah, we've been saying this. The only game that we haven't been saying this is the Vancouver game. We're like, oh, we gotta.
Well, Houston is coming up next, mate. It could be that, and these boys got to get it firing up quick.
And it's a derby.
It's a derby.
And there's players in this team that know how this fan base takes
And
derbies.
we actually haven't
And we take
mentioned,
'em serious.
mate, we haven't mentioned the most important detail going into this game.
Wait.
Josh Wolff is the assistant
Oh
coach.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, I said earlier about how like we should have gone up and pressured LA Galaxy because their defense was bad and like try to maintain possession and they can't. But like we really need to do that against Houston because you can see the Wolf ball like so clear whenever you watch
It's
them
gonna
play.
be weird.
Like whoever their keeper is will probably lead them in touches.
First time that Austin faces a former coach.
This is gonna be weird, but
This is the
also
first time.
it's gonna be even weirder when it comes to Q2.
Damn. How do you think
August
Owen
9th.
feels? How do you think Owen feels, mate? Owen. Custody match for Owen at this point. Custody match for Owen.
I mean, yeah, it's probably awkward for Owen, but it was probably just as awkward like having your dad coach the team that you're on and
Custody
like
match for Owen.
Tables,
yeah, like you're not
ladders,
in the group
chairs,
chat
bro.
then.
Sign me up.
Tables, ladders, chairs.
Tables, ladders, chairs, custody match for Owen. Like it's the mid-2000s
Like it's Rey
WWE.
Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero.
For Dominic. For Dominic.
That was wild.
Bro, you know he's a superstar in the WWE now?
Now?
And
Oh,
Dominic?
Dominic, yeah.
He's a superstar, following in
Awesome.
his father and uncle's
Well,
footsteps.
that just makes me feel old.
I just heard Triple H was on Flagrant.
Incredible podcast.
I love that
I
podcast.
loved it.
I loved it.
It was
bro.
great.
I
It was
listened to it once and a half. I couldn't finish it again.
I thought it was fantastic. I thought
It was great, yeah. Because we were friends during those
DX,
times.
of
Like
course,
DX is
the Attitude Era, all that stuff. All that stuff.
yeah. Oh.
No, but okay, so Austin sees Houston up next. Josh Wolff faces his former team that he used to be the coach of. Owen Wolff faces his father for the first time in his career. So another game where a lot of headlines going into it, mate.
a lot of like, it's been like, I wouldn't say weird, but like it's been like the vibes is just like, you know, we waiting like these performances like we're honestly we're upset and it's like low key a little negative after the fan reactions. After every game, even though we get the 3 points, it's still like standards, bro.
Well,
Standards.
also,
It says
like,
a
we're
lot
talking
to
about like
standards.
Wolf having to come back here. Like, depending on Open Cup results, like he might be coming here in like a couple weeks because Houston would have to play here if they win and we win.
If they take care of business, and we do as well.
I'm interested to see how our fan base reacts.
Let's talk a little bit about the Open Cup news real quick. Now, Austin FC, the draw was made official. Austin does see the El Paso Locomotive May 7th at Q2 Stadium. That is confirmed at 7:30 p.m. Mark your calendars. We'll see you here. But if how things happen, blah, 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 We could go to Houston. We could play the Phoenix Rising over there, if I'm not mistaken.
So part of the draw is not just the matchups. They also do it in like
Hosting priority.
by hosting priority. So Phoenix is 1, we're 2.
Shout out my G Phoenix.
Yeah, and then El Paso, I think, doesn't have a stadium that
lives there?
qualifies
No,
to
Portland.
host at this level or this round.
think so.
They weren't allowed to host, which is why they're coming here. So we might have an away day in Phoenix in a couple weeks, depending on how results turn
I
out.
have family in Phoenix, so I might take that trip.
I was about to say, and H is like been adamant this whole time, bro. We gotta go to Phoenix. Let's go to Phoenix. Let's go to Phoenix.
No, I'm also kind of in love with an Open Cup run. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of in love with it. And Owen is talking about it. Danny was here in this podcast talking to us about a run. It's only 5 or 6
and it's
games.
Locomotive.
El Paso.
Oh, I'm sorry.
El Paso.
That's what we played, but in Phoenix.
In Phoenix, they're Phoenix Rising, USL. Now, we don't have that luxury to say, oh, we got these USL sides. We've struggled. We've struggled,
We should be the
man.
last
Unless we had
club to say that.
Unless we had Rodney Reddes, and then we were fine.
Bro,
yeah,
there's still San Antonio FC fans chirping in the comments of like random posts.
no.
They will still chirp about that even after the club
I'm not
doesn't
gonna
exist
lie.
anymore.
They're mad.
As they kind of should. They remember that they
We hold
knocked
them.
us out of the first round of the
We stole the MLS franchise from them. Austin stole the franchise from. Well, I wouldn't say
Look,
stole.
I'm not gonna lie.
I wouldn't say stole,
No, we wouldn't. I wouldn't.
but we
say
were
so.
chosen over SA.
Yeah, and we went to San Antonio for that game. And to be honest, I have nothing but positive things to say about the team. And it's like it's a smaller stadium, and it was great. We went, we drove, we stayed late. We weren't planning on staying that late. Extra time, like the defeat. It was just.
It was tough.
It still lingers to this day, brother. I
Now-
still sometimes like
You wake up. Huh? Now, Tuck, Open Cup draw. You get that El Paso Locomotive. Now, detail, we've gotten a couple players from their team for our Fcito side. I know Chris Garcia, if I'm not mistaken. I know he came from there. He's no longer here. There's a couple that came from that El Paso system. But, Tuck, how did you see this draw? Are you confident?
I mean, I'm confident, and I mean, I know we can't talk about USL sides because we don't have a good record against them.
No.
But I mean, it is a game you would expect a team of this quality to be winning with the players we signed. Like, if we go full strength 11, I mean, come on, USL defenders are not.
Now,
clamping
shout
the
out to
team.
my G Alex, our colleague here. He asked Coach Nico, he said, hey, are you going to use the Open Cup as an opportunity to pull your full strength 11? Or are you going to use it to field younger guys? And he said that we need to see where we're at. You know, Nico gave a Nico answer. You know,
Bro,
he gave a
let
coach
me give
answer.
you my answer.
What do you want to see in the Open Cup?
My answer is you put the starters and let us have. I know it's USL, but let them score some goals. Let
Hey?
them bang it in.
No,
let them
this-
give them
I'm-
something.
this is
Throw
a-
them in there because Brandon Vázquez needs that. Whoa.
we have a very winnable draw to get to the quarterfinals, and not getting there would be a big disappointment because it's 2 non-MLS sides in Houston.
I want to
Like,
see a
we
mix.
should be able to do it.
I want to see a mix of the veterans and the young guys. You know who I want to see? 2 guys I want to see 100% without a doubt. 3 guys, I'm sorry. CJ Fodry,
5 guys. Okay.
CJ Fodry,
Yep.
Stephen Cleveland in goal, and Nico Dubersarski.
Yeah.
If they're ever gonna get more than 20 minutes, when is it gonna be? If not the Open Cup,
And when CJ has
We ain't
played
in Leagues
those
Cup.
in those like 10 or 15 like minute kind of like
Today he was
cameo,
great.
Like he
Today he was
plays
great.
really well. Like he deserves more field time.
he has a body to take the ball down to the touchline and shield it.
I would
know what I
love
mean?
I would love to see him utilized on the left wing more.
I think we're not using him correctly.
See, I feel as though Nico has him pegged as a like striker, as more of like a 9 and more of a target man, and I want to see CJ wide more.
I think because he's too tall.
He is.
He's very, very
I
tall.
mean, he's tall and he's very physical, so I see
100%.
it. But
100%. Tuck, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just on the US Open. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we have a chance to not have to leave Q2 until the semifinal, if I'm not wrong. So
yeah,
you take
Really?
into account,
You just gotta
you
win
said,
out.
we're playing 2 USL teams in
Yeah.
Houston. Those are in Q2. I mean, that's a golden opportunity to get to a semifinal of a major tournament.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Anything can happen from that point on.
yeah. If Austin wins and Houston wins, they'd come here.
Yes. You could play Houston, 3 times? 2 times the next couple of days? The league game coming up
twice
and then the Open Cup.
because we don't play them again. I'm sorry, they don't come here for the league match until August 9th.
Okay. Oh, well, Open Cup, it's going to be very, very interesting. B, we're going to Phoenix if we make it.
No promise.
I want to go to Phoenix, bro.
Phoenix
I've
on a
never been to
Wednesday.
Phoenix.
Let's party.
Somebody said,
Oh, it's on Wednesday? Bro, I'm not going to Phoenix, bro. I'm not going to
It'll be
Phoenix,
mid- it'll be
bro.
midweek.
What?
I'm down to go to Phoenix.
I'm not
I feel
going,
like
bro.
I'm in Breaking Bad for a little bit. I don't know. Somebody told me though, they were like, "Hey, are we gonna are we going to drive? I looked at them and I was like, bro, it takes 8 hours to get to El Paso. You know what I'm saying? I'm not driving. It's 14 hours to Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Hell no. I was like, bro, let's get on an airplane. We'll be there in an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe McConaughey scoop us up in his PJ.
Right?
By the way, real quick, let's talk about McConaughey's gesture, Brad Stewart's gesture. Danny Pereira, I believe he also went up to Marco and his family. Apparently, shout out to Maggi Las Deku. He mentioned how the club had reserved the first 2 rows for the family. I think that was amazing. If that's 100%, that's amazing by the club to have the whole family there. You know, to reserve it because Marcos Jr. would have been there. Edwin Cerrillo is related to them, if I'm not mistaken. And he also went up to Marco and gave him a couple of words. They had a chat there. But I just wanted to spend just a minute on that situation that obviously was, looming above us in this match. And we knew what was going on. And I went down and I spoke with Marco and I gave him some words of encouragement. I mean, what can you tell a father when he lost his son? I just try to do my best. But I was very surprised that McConaughey went down there. It just shows how much of a good human being McConaughey is, bro. And he gets a lot of shit. He gets a lot of flack for being the MOC and he's never there. But he was there for a very important moment.
He's been there a lot more often this season.
Well, you know what people say.
Yeah, true.
But no, I thought it was a very, very nice gesture on their part.
I mean, you also have to acknowledge that like he is a busy person.
He is.
I mean, that's part of it. I mean, there was also a last-minute TIFO design change to include his name on there.
Mm-hmm.
Marco's, not McConaughey's. And I saw him in the supporter section and gave him a hug, kind of a thing. Like you could tell that like he felt like supported by all.
It didn't stop there. It didn't stop there because we were listening to the press conference here, and Nico Estevez starts off the press conference by saying, "First of all, I want to send a heart out to Marco and his family who just lost his son." He got that out the way, and I thought that was class. Like, because we got the win above all. Brandon Vázquez, he got the goal that he needed, of course. But this is a family. This is a community. And to me, it's amazing that Austin FC has in their mind to honor the memory of this fan of theirs in a moment where they're feeling all these joys. Because it's easy to forget. And just credit to the team, the staff, McConaughey for showing that gesture to the Anaya family. I was very moved by it. Very moved. B, any thoughts?
No, yeah, it just goes to show, since this team came around to our city, we build like a community, people that we see every game day, people that we know that we've became befriended, you know what I mean? Yeah. People in this very room as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very tragic situation.
It's more than a game.
It's more than a game. Tragic situation, but it was a nice gesture by the club,
and just like Scotty mentioned earlier, this is the first time where our fan base experienced something like this. Right, where we had a loss in the fan base. And Charlotte recently had a fan pass away as well. And I feel like the club, our club, Charlotte did a really good job at honoring that fan. I feel like Austin FC, at the end of the day, did a really good job at honoring. And also, shout out to the TIFO team. I know they work extremely hard. I listened to the podcast with Vamos Verde. This was one of my favorite TIFOs of all time. I thought it was amazing. And Nico Estevez also commented on it as well.
Yeah, keep an eye out. There will be a blog post on the Los Verdes blog that I wrote that'll come out in the next few days with a little bit of detail about the behind the scenes and quotes from the artists.
Recency bias, or was this a fire TIFO? Best in club history?
Nah,
Recency bias or best?
Not the best in club history. It was a great TIFO, a banger TIFO. Up there, but I don't
not
think it's
the best
the best
for you.
Nah.
Primo, recency bias, or was this the best
But
TIFO?
it was awesome, by the way.
I'm gonna say second best.
Second best?
Top three.
Top three.
Top three for sure.
Top three, and it's not three.
It's not three.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's top three, but I think it would be the best TIFO by far for like 20 other clubs.
Let's get the most. No, it's facts,
Take
though.
that, bro.
It's facts.
It's
It's
facts.
facts.
Yeah,
It's facts.
levels,
It's facts.
levels to this. There's levels to this.
It's
you know
levels.
what I mean?
Shout out to the artist Elise, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Elise.
so this was this TIFO more specifically was more collaborative in terms of like having the designers kind of do all the little vignettes of the players, and it came together really well. It was Elise's idea, and like I mentioned with the blog post, like we get quotes from a lot of the designers about what it means for them to do the TIFOs and what this community means and all of that. And it was really powerful to put all that together.
Now, real quick, before we go on to some European topics, before we close out the pod, I do want to ask for the most unbiased opinion, the person that has really no say in anything that's going on. He's new to the scene. Dante, rate the TIFO, bro. See, there we go. Okay. MLS too. There we go. There we go. Put it well. Very neutral voice too. That guy Dante.
Hey, our TIFO game is elite.
Now, you know-
alright?
you know
our
which
TIFO
one-
game is elite. You know, we're the best in the league.
You-
Straight up.
You know which one was fire? The Groot.
Groot one was fire. You know my
Groot.
personal favorite? I don't know why
The
it sticks out
Groot.
to me a lot. The Selena one.
Yeah.
To me, that's number one.
Birthday just passed.
Yeah.
Birthday just passed. Right there. Actually, little fun fact. Fun fact. We're changing intros for the podcast.
Oh, it's coming soon.
And the intros that you will hear on the English and the Spanish podcast, they were created by a family member of Selena. A DJ family member of Selena.
Hey, they're on their way.
That's really cool.
Yeah, really cool. Last name Quintanilla. Confirmed 100%. Shout out to my G, Carlos for hooking us and making
They
that
came out great.
making that
by the
link
way.
up.
They came out great.
They came out good. They came out really good. He definitely cooked. But guys, United had one of their most insane performances in probably decades. I must say, well, at least one decade. I don't know.
At least one decade. I'll give you that.
Performance or like game?
Game,
Game,
the spectacle,
The spectacle.
the
yeah.
atmosphere.
So I obviously didn't see the game, and we're gonna get into it. And we recently just saw the highlights, but like, what would you rank this real quick? Just like as far as because people are saying it's the best game probably of all time. Like they're putting it up there.
No, it's not all time. It can't
No?
be when you concede 4.
But like the best, I'm sorry, not
It's
from
the-
United. The best like soccer game, the best football match. That's what I'm talking about.
So, I mean, I think it depends on
This-
how
oh,
much you love chaos.
I don't know if I'm
Let me compare
qualified
it.
to answer
Let me
that.
compare it to the game to the MLS Cup Union LAFC where Bale scores.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good
That-
comparison.
also, the World Cup final, Argentina France.
Yep.
I mean,
You know what
Real Madrid has had so many comebacks in the Champions League that I
who
can
the-
pinpoint.
What? Oh my! What?
Oh, I can't bring up the
my
Madrid
God.
comebacks?
Hey,
Me.
get the Don Julio, Dante.
No,
Yeah,
y'all
nah.
can't. We can't talk about beautiful storylines without talking about the Real Madrid comebacks
Well,
that they've
hey,
had.
but you
and
know
I mean, here's the thing: like, it's not even the best European comeback United have had. Like, it's always going to be the '99 final with Solskjaer at the end. Like, that's always
That's
going
true.
to be the thing.
Ole.
Yeah.
Ole. No, but
Ole.
in the game, Man United, they were up 2-0. You'd think, hey, United can't mess this up, right? These guys are going to see it through.
I'm a United fan, and let me tell you, I knew they were going to mess it up.
Okay. So maybe I was more of an optimistic view. I see.
That's 'cause you're not a United fan.
Dante has a United sticker on
bro,
his
stop
laptop.
Yeah,
it.
against
It's
Ronaldo.
gotta be
I was
real, it's
asking
gotta
about
be
it
real.
earlier, and he was like, "No, just Ronaldo fan." I was
Oh,
like,
okay. Good to know. But United, they came out in the second half, different team. They got outscored by Lyon. They came back, 4 unanswered goals in that second half. And you'd think, man, they're down and out. It's over for these guys. But credit to Amorim. I think he made the right moves. He brings on Kobe Mino, right? And people were saying, I want Mino as striker. I want Mino as striker, this and that. He does get the goal, before that. Casemiro draws the penalty. B was saying that he reminded him of his Real Madrid days. Soft, very little contact.
Yeah.
I get it 100%.
Bro, all of a sudden the red turned white. I was like, wait a second, I've seen this before.
Was it a PK?
yeah, it's absolutely a penalty. Like Casemiro's controlling the ball in the box. And
He
gets
doesn't
fouled.
control it, man.
He's controlling the ball. Like he
does
gets a
not.
second touch on
He
it, and
does
then he
not
gets
control
fouled.
it, brother.
Like
Doesn't
that's
control
a foul
it.
everywhere else on the pitch. So it's a foul. So it's a
Letter
penalty.
on the law, like if the textbook, okay. I mean, all right, there's contact.
I think the Prem referees, they're very serious if there's contact in
Yeah.
the box, it's a penalty, right? Or something like that.
I mean, here's the thing:
There's a
the
Europa
Premier
League.
League referees don't really have like guidebook or any kind of like coherent structure of what are and aren't penalties. Same with what are and aren't handballs. And
The
so
EPL has
like,
been a mess with
it's,
referees
yeah,
this
it's
season,
it's
bro.
been a mess for a
been
few
mess.
seasons now.
I believe it.
This is as bad as it's sort of kind of gotten, honestly, bro. I think this is like really bad season.
Yeah, I mean they've England in general has kind of gone too far into the technology side of it.
They think,
And to
they
the
think
point that
they're
like I
like
think
the-
and I think that because they've gone so far into the technology side, like the referees are in a lot of ways afraid to be shown that they're wrong, and also just like their quality of refereeing, they keep losing their best referees to other leagues or to do the video or do whatever, and so like they're just kind of going through like a drain of like who their best guys are.
I mean, some referees, apparently, like the guy, David Coote. David Coote? I mean, look at that.
I mean, at least Mike Dean's
Look at
gone.
that.
Like,
Pull them up, primo. What
Look at
happened?
that, I mean-
Read the article.
No, we're not going to read the article. But, I see what you're saying. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. But then you got these guys like this dude. I mean, Tuck, you were going to add a point?
No, I was just gonna say what he said, but he already said it. Where that penalty, it's given anywhere else on the pitch, so there's no reason it shouldn't have been.
Okay. So Casemiro falls down.
Soft
He-
ass pen,
he-
bro. Soft.
Casemiro falls in the box. United rightfully
it's fouled
confirms.
in the box. Thank you.
He's found. Thank you. He's found in the box. Penalty is given. United converts, and then the comeback is on. Kobe Mino scores his, and then we got to talk about Harry Maguire, because this is a guy that's been through it all. I mean, remember
It was bad.
Remember when he
It
tried
was
to
bad.
bribe the police?
In Greece, yeah.
You remember when he tried to
Yeah.
bribe the cops?
You know who I am.
You know what? I'm Harry Maguire.
I mean, he
You know
makes
what I'm
enough
saying?
money that he can do that.
He does,
Yeah.
but come on, bro.
And also,
No.
he was, he had got a couple brewskis, maybe.
Maybe.
you're
Well,
lit.
I mean, he is the emblematic problem that United have had in the sense that we keep swapping out managers who have different styles, and ultimately, like we have gone through this period of, we spent 2 or 3 windows trying to get players for a specific style. We realize that style doesn't work or the coach is bad, and then we fire the coach, and then we go through the process again. And Maguire's kind of the one guy who's had to go through all of that. And there are times that he's looked better or looked worse, but I think Amorim is actually a really good coach for him because Amorim puts him in a 3-man back line to where his deficiencies aren't as prominent. And the thing I really liked was that after Hodgland got taken off, was that Maguire got put up front as striker, which really is his second best position because he is that physical presence in the box and can finish, and he showed that. At the same time, like you were talking about it being like it felt like a vintage United win. It felt like the kind of thing where the team didn't give up. They believed in themselves. They kept going until they won. And that's something that United haven't had in a few years.
Nope.
I mean, that's not a mentality that Eric Ten Hag brings, just as a note. And so it felt good to have that the pop of the crowd when the goals go. I follow a lot of other United fans, and the one thing that they almost universally talked about was they talked about how like it felt like Old Trafford was back.
Okay. So let's talk about the new stadium? No? We want to keep Old Trafford. I don't,
I want to keep Old.
I
I
get
mean,
it.
I want to keep Old Trafford. I also say that like I've never been there, so it doesn't really like mean anything to me. And
roof
at the
is
same
leaking.
time,
Or like Bali would say Old Trashford.
Old Trafford.
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is that when you have Glazers who neglect the club and neglect the facilities, this is what you have. Where it might actually be cheaper to just build a new stadium.
Now, United did see the win out 5-4 full time, if I'm not mistaken. And then Amorim comes out and he says, the fans need to understand this. In the league, I'm going to play the youngsters. You have to understand that we will prioritize the Europa League, and I need the fan support. B, what are your thoughts on Amorim coming out and saying, hey, I'm going to play the youngsters in the league? I believe they're mathematically safe from relegation, so there's nothing that can happen on that end, right?
No.
Do you think it's a good move?
It's the only move. That's the only chance of you ever getting in the Champions League. Like, you're not going to get in the league. This season's over. You're not going to get relegated. There's nothing to play for except the Europa League.
So they
of
got to win
course.
it. They have to win
of
it.
course.
I mean, winning Europa League is like $100
Yeah.
million like
Yeah.
revenue boost for them.
And on the other side of the-
expectation.
On the other side of the bracket, we got Tottenham as well.
going above the Arctic Circle.
On the other side.
Respect Tottenham. Respect Tottenham.
Do we have to respect Tottenham?
And then in the Conference League, we got Chelsea.
Chelsea!
And in the Champions League, Arsenal. So EPL's doing
a lot better
They
than
might
Germany.
do a sweepo this year.
Doing a lot
they
better
might they might do a sweep, brother. You know what I
Doing a
mean?
lot better than the Bundesliga is in Europe.
And
Nah,
they were
for
killing
sure.
it last year.
Now I know a lot of folks wanted Bali to have his victory lap,
I just texted Bali.
but we're gonna next episode we'll have Bali on here and we'll make sure to bring that up. I'm sure he'll still want to talk about
I
it.
wonder, Bali's acting weird right now, man. Hey, he's I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. Like deep down, I'm
What do
happy
you
for
know
him.
that I don't?
I'm happy
Is
for him.
it-
No,
do I
I'm
need to
talking
grab some
about.
popcorn?
Wait,
Like, I
man,
don't-
we're talking Arsenal here. We're talking football, mate. What do you
okay.
mean? This is not a football podcast.
I thought-
brother.
I thought you were
yeah,
spilling
yeah.
the tea. I don't know.
No,
I
no,
thought
no,
you was
no.
I
I'm
had
not
a
here all the
baby on
time.
the way
He's
or
an Arsenal
something.
fan. I'm not gonna lie. I tormented him for years. For years. We.
Me, I'm the world tormented Arsenal.
So to see him in this position, happy for him, But where you at?
I clearly remember people saying making the argument if supporting Arsenal was a social experiment because they kept losing and losing. Bro, oh my!
Nah, it wasn't as
God.
bad. It
No,
was nowhere
but
as bad. Nowhere
credit
near.
to
It was
Arsenal.
bad, but like Arsenal's is they're-
I guess we
the
shifted.
timeline was this. Arsenal's
We shifted to the Champions League a little bit. Obviously, Arsenal sees out the win at the Bernabeu, something that not a lot of teams have done, but some teams can do. Not only did they see out and go on to the next round, they beat Madrid in both legs. 3-1 in the first one, 2-1 in the second one. Difficult. Real Madrid fans all over the world are just gutted, destroyed. But this in Real Madrid history needs to happen every now and then. It's like an economy crash in a country. Madrid, it was due for a disaster like this. Carlo Ancelotti
crazy.
respectfully has to go at the end of the season. And I said on the Spanish podcast that I wanted Xabi Alonso over Klopp. And now Klopp is flirting with Madrid more than Alonso. And I can't say that I don't want Klopp. I mean, who would in their right mind would turn away Jurgen Klopp from their coach? And in the situation that Madrid is in right now, those two coaches would fit very, very well with the situation going on.
That's a weird to me. To me, that's kind of weird. That weird, and I have no back knowledge or anything. To me, it just seems because where would Klopp be and Liverpool be if it wasn't for Real Madrid when they were like those
have
defeats,
3 Champions Leagues, I believe.
those domination performances where they're looking? I bet you they're looking at this game like, how come we couldn't do this to them?
Yeah.
All the chances that we had, we couldn't do this to them.
Yeah. I see
So
what you're
it's
saying.
a little weird. So it's a little weird, but yeah.
But Klopp apparently is fed up with his role at where's he at? RB Leipzig.
Salzburg.
RB
I
Leipzig.
believe.
Okay,
I
Salzburg.
believe. Fact check.
Well,
me on that.
apparently he's fed up with this role there, and the Real Madrid job is a real possibility for Jurgen Klopp. I mean, you think he fits?
I mean, I would just always favor taking a younger guy who's kind of on the up and coming, like Alonso
That's
over,
the trend
over
right
Klopp.
now.
Like, I think that's a better trend. Like, I'm always going to opt that way, especially somebody who's been out of coaching for a couple of years and has kind of always had this pattern of like his teams kind of start strong for a couple of years and then fade away. Like, I would much rather have Alonso than Klopp.
But the thing
and
about
Madrid are at the level that they get to pick whoever they want and spend whatever on it.
But the thing about it is Klopp has proven to you what he can do. I know Alonso won something and he did something amazing last season, but we don't know yet. They crashed out of the Champions League bad. They got destroyed, and in the league they kind of dropped the ball there a little bit as well. So Klopp gives you guarantee that he's shown it. He has a body of work. He's got a body of work. So and that's the gamble, but it is the trend right now.
With
young, unexperienced
Jurgen
managers.
Klopp right now and Xabi Alonso is one guy is very proven, like you said, to be across Europe. He's one of the most looked out for manager. I mean, look at the work he did with Dortmund as well, right? Going back, not even just Liverpool.
Facts. Isn't he like right now the top manager in the world?
Sought out, like the free one. The free
Yes.
Oh,
one.
that's unemployed. Yeah,
He's
I
number
think so.
one.
He's number one.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're going for number one.
I'm not even sure who the second one would be.
Good
Cherundolo?
question.
I mean, he's not a,
Just kidding,
I mean,
bro. John Wall? Nah, just kidding. No, but yeah, 100%. Now, I did want to say this. Jurgen Klopp qualified, has the body of work. Xabi Alonso is vibes and friendship, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
Madrid. That's kind of Madrid.
kind of Madrid.
That's kind of Madrid.
That's kind of Madrid. And Xabi Alonso is a player coach.
Yeah.
You're
right.
He could have been there for La Décima Champions League final, but he got a yellow card in the semifinal that took him out of that final match. Xabi Alonso oozes Real Madrid.
I'm flipping.
He knows what it. He
I'm
knows
flipping
what it
right now.
takes. And I had
Xabi. I'm Xabi. Yeah.
I had a conversation with my boy Danny Benz, and he told me he was
Shout
like,
out Danny Benz,
shout out
brother.
Danny Benz. He told me he was like, it was a poor take from you to say that you wanted Xabi Alonso over Jurgen Klopp, but I thought about it, and I think you're right. He said, and I said, I was like,
Oh, he flipped too.
he flipped too, and I said on the pod, I was like, right now in the Spanish pod, I said, right now, this team of egos needs a guy that will kind of play their side a little bit, but they need somebody they can look up to, somebody that knows the system, somebody like Zidane is what I kind of wanted.
They would respect, like look
Yes.
up to,
And
something.
then
that
bring
they
in
know.
Klopp. Bring in Klopp afterwards if he's still available. I
He's
understand
not
if he
gonna
won't
be. He's
be.
not gonna wait because Xabi. Well, actually, maybe
This
he
is
might
Madrid.
because he wants to take a break, right?
This
the whole
is
thing.
Madrid.
Yeah.
This is Madrid.
The thing about it is, man, I was gonna have a point right now.
This
I was
is
gonna have
Madrid.
one why I flipped.
Oh, hold up.
Oh, yes, it came back. So you look at how he ran Liverpool. Like they were like well groomed, like as far as fitness, as far as like just pressure, work rate, the midfield.
But would you say
think
that
he
those
can-
players were more humble than the current Real
That's-
Madrid squad?
that's the whole thing. You're not gonna do that to these mega stars. You're not.
Vini's not gonna
Oh,
run
there's
what
no
Robertson
what?
wants.
They're not gonna do that to Jude. You're not gonna do that. So it's gonna be tough. That's
They have to dig
at
in.
Liverpool, they had Chiesa, they had all these players, Fabinho, locked
Willing,
in,
Matip, Van Dijk,
Yeah.
Robertson, Trent Alexander.
And with Madrid, and it's the criticism that Zidane got is as Zinedine Zidane is, he doesn't really know tactics. He's just a player manager, this and that's why he succeeded at Madrid. These criticisms of Real Madrid. So Xavi seems way like a better option now.
I feel like
I think
he
part of
would
it is
be.
also that like 80% or a vast majority of coaching is actually managing the players and their personalities
Yeah.
and their emotions. And I think that's something that we can't judge coaches on because we don't see it behind the scenes.
That's true.
And at the same time, like this is a problem Madrid has with their model of building a team is that at some point you can only have so many players who don't give 100% effort on the pitch. Like you can kind of get away with like one or two sometimes, but like, you know, it's the same problem that PSG had when it was Messi and Neymar and Mbappe is that like you need an entire team working together the entire time. And you can't always do that if you're just buying the most expensive players.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Now, just to close out the European topic, of course, we had the Champions League finish out. The next round is set. You had Barca made it through. Of course, Arsenal made it through. You had PSG also made it through.
Enrique. I mean, this PSG
Luis Enrique.
side, would it be crazy for them to lift the Champions League the year that Mbappe left to Madrid? I mean, you know, obviously we all know that all the names leaving PSG helped them tremendously. Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, like Enrique went in there. Now he has a young, like motivated squad that will listen to him.
He's a good coach.
He's a good coach. You know, Dembele is having like a second career spurt as well.
Yep,
so
I agree.
PSG is cooking. And I know they had props to Villa, right? They had a tough game again. They lost the game, actually, right? Villa almost had a rumble of coming back, but no, they took care of business.
I feel like Villa could have won that game.
Man, I was rooting for Villa, I'm not going to lie.
It would have been a really good story for Villa to
Oh,
win.
man. But when they went up, the vibes in the,
The Prince
stadium.
was
Oh, I mean,
Prince-
if you've seen
Prince was
if you've seen the video of the fans like going
Yeah.
insane, like it was
Insane,
so much
bro.
fun to see.
It was insane. I was like, bro, imagine being there. with
I've
them.
always had a soft spot for Villa. They're one of the like historic teams.
And they got
of
chips.
the
They got
Prem.
Champions Leagues, right? Am I not tripping? They got one.
Well, I mean, it's it's the Prince's team. It's the royal team, right?
Yeah.
It's the royal team. That's how is that? How did that come to be? What the hell?
I always assume it's proximity, but I always thought like Reading used to be the Royals because of proximity, so I don't know.
Or is Buckingham Palace close to the stadium or something?
yeah, like I always assume it's something like that.
Something like that. I got to go to Buckingham Palace. I actually got the invite to Buckingham Palace one time. I said no. I was busy. I had to do a podcast. I was like, nah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
You didn't ask to do the podcast at Buckingham Palace?
They said that
You would
my
have told me, brother. You would have told me if that was real.
mics couldn't get through customs. Is what I was hearing.
Oh,
And then I woke up.
And then I woke
No,
up.
but to close out the pod, guys, Austin FC 2 is currently losing 2-0 at the half to the Whitecaps. Disaster first half.
no.
Nico
down a man.
Nico Van Rijs got a red card in the 30th minute. I'm assuming it was a penalty because at the 31st, Daniel Russo scores his goal to start off the night for the Whitecaps. At least they're following in the first team's footsteps.
I was about to say, I think I'm having deja vu, bro.
Yeah. And
Yeah, you had it on the laptop earlier, and I was like, "This is
that real?
This is a different game, right?" Oh, okay.
no, but
He's
come
just
on.
watching the highlights again.
But I was like, "Why is he watching the entire match? Like, what's going on?"
The boys got to
He's a
pick it
sicko.
up.
He's a sicko. He's a
They
sicko.
could have a comeback in the second half. I'll make sure to keep an eye on it. But I want to give a big shout out to the Austin FC Academy, the U15s. They quietly won their second Copa Rayados Easter International version of it. Shout out to Coach Marco Gutierrez and all his staff and all the young lads that are on that team. I could name all of you, but I'd be here for 30 minutes. And I know everybody's names. Shout out to Majid Clayton. Shout out to 805 Cruz. Just to say some names. But they won 1-0 today against Orlando. JP Mendez scored 2 goals against this Orlando side in the group stage. They see them in the final. They get the goal. I believe it was Eli Duany that got the 1-0 win to seal the deal. The celebrations, we're going to post them on social media. You'll see them very soon. Massive, massive credit to the U15s. Another chip for these guys. And hey, keep an eye on that guy, Coach Marco Gutierrez. He knows how to get the best of his players. If you can do it at the academy level, let's do it at the 18s. Then we'll do it on the FCito level, and then you don't know what can happen from there. One thing that I've seen from this club is they promote from within.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
And it's great to see the academy like do so well because we want to support the club at all the age levels. We want to make sure that like they're getting the credit that they deserve because they're going out there and winning.
100%. B, any thoughts on these boys? Remember
it's great.
in the offseason, we did the coverage on the
Oh.
Copa Rayados.
Yes, it was amazing.
This is another Copa Rayados. They
Yeah.
went back to back.
Look, man, if this club has a little history, the academy and the FCito 2 even has shorter history. Like, so far, it's been great. It's been good. Like, we've seen young talent. Chips have been won on both the academy and the FCito side. So, in our very, very short history, we're doing good. So, and that's the whole point of this. People want to bring up, the records or like, these certain positions or no. It's developing talent. Let's see the talent that's out there. pay attention on some names that come up. You know, that's the whole purpose of it. So I'm very happy with it.
All right.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Although the FC2 boys are down 2-0 and red card at the half. But
Yeah.
the thing about FC2 is like it's not just about the wins.
I'm
It's about the
starting-
development.
Yeah.
It's a whole bigger picture. But Tuck, any thoughts? Because you see these games a lot. The FCito, Academy games. You've gone with me multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's good that our academy is doing so good because if you really think about it, these are the future of the league playing against the future of the league, right? And they're doing really good. They're
good point.
They're
That's a
winning
good point.
games.
Some.
So
What percentage you think see the league?
20.
I think the academy system is set up for players to make it. So
If
if you
they
don't
want
make
to.
it,
Ask
if they
everyone
want
league.
to.
What percentage of academy players make the league?
That's a good question. That's, a
good
good question.
That's a question.
I
That's a good
think
question.
Roto knows because he's probably made fun of it at a press conference.
Oh, 100%. He's made fun of the FCito situation when he got here. He was like, I mean, we were playing 27-year-olds, 24, 25. You can't do that. We were one of the oldest second teams in MLS Next Pro. You can't have that. You can't do that. It's just not. And that's why, I hate to say it, but that's why we saw talents leave. Vigo Ortiz, he left because they wouldn't debut him. And look where he's at now. He's with Charleston Battery. And he's getting called up to the Mexican national team. Not the first team, but the youth ranks.
Yeah.
And he's bound to go to the first team for the Mexican national team. He's a good player. We let him go. It is what it is. Jersey plug. Make sure to check him out. But guys, anything else we would like to add on the pod before we get out of here? 1-0 win. The Galaxy got the job done. How can we close it out? I mean, I felt like we were positive, but we gave it to them too. We gave it. We kind of gave it to the boys.
Let's go to Houston and just drop it on them. Drop it on them.
Drop
brother.
what? Drop what?
Everything.
Okay.
goals.
Everything.
All right.
I will say this: the one thing we forgot to mention is that this is the first Copa Tejas match of the season.
Oh.
Oh, it is,
the most,
isn't it?
The most
Yeah.
prestigious trophy in American
In the Western
sports.
Hemisphere.
Yeah, obviously. So that'll be a really that always makes the games feel a little bit more special. And then May's a really busy month for Austin, so keep an eye out. I think we play like every 4 days or so. It's kind of crazy.
The Copa Tejas crawled so the Club World Cup could walk.
It's crazy.
Just remember that when you see a bunch of empty stadiums at the Club World Cup this summer. Just saying.
I don't know. I think it'll be packed. Tuck, you wanted to add something, mate?
No, I was just going to say that depending on how the U.S. Open goes, we'll probably have 9 games in the month of May. So we got a long stretch of games coming up. So, I mean, we really could go either direction.
Hey,
It could get really bad. or
Suit up.
we could
Suit
get
up.
really bad.
We're going to need you for a shift. Suit up, bro.
Hey, I can start, bro. I can start. I could
I've
have
seen you play.
I could have scored. I've nutmegged you twice.
Wow.
Dang.
Bringing that up on his podcast.
brought
Like,
that
wow.
Nah, you know what? I
Violence
think we can end
on.
it there. We can end the pod there. I can't continue with this. But currently the Whitecaps. I'm sorry, that's a different Whitecaps. Sorry, but no.
Whitecaps too.
I was trying to see if there's any results right now going on around the league, but as of right now, everybody's starting late.
They
Yeah.
just started.
Charlotte's beating. That's good.
in the West.
Charlotte is beating San Diego. That's good.
That is good.
That helps us.
Miami beat Columbus 1-0 earlier. And I think Minnesota plays Houston, which should probably start.
Seattle is
soonish.
tied against Nashville. It doesn't really affect us, but Seattle's in the West. The San Diego Charlotte game really helps us out. If Charlotte sees out that win, Charlotte's one of the best teams in the East, by the way.
It's very important for us to keep track of the standings 9 games into the season.
MLS.
Good stuff, Scott.
MLS.
I was literally thinking that. I was like,
Now, we'll get out of here.
We're too early, brother.
Thank you for everybody's support. Easter episode. A little bit of an interesting one. We had to get shout out to my G Scott and Tucker Dante for being here with us. We'll be back next week, of course, to talk about the Houston game. So we'll see you soon. Shout out to the club. Rest in peace to Marcos Jr. and Marcos Anaya, the father. We're here for you, mate. Anything you need.